Today's lesson is Plus Talk, meeting new people. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I'm Helen.
And in today's program, we're talking about meeting new people. This is a good way to improve your English, especially if you're traveling overseas or studying overseas. Many of our listeners, of course, are quite young, and you might be preparing to study overseas or to go on those work vacations like to Australia. You're certainly going to have the opportunity to meet new people and to communicate. And sometimes it's difficult to break the ice, isn't it?
Right. Sometimes we're invited to a party or a gathering, like a wedding or a birthday party, and we may not know everybody there, and it can be pretty uncomfortable. So you need to find a way to break the ice.
Right. You need to come up with some simple conversations and to actually talk to people. But the good news is that, hey, a lot of people are the same as you. They don't really know what to say. They kind of feel awkward in a situation like that. So, yeah, pretty much everybody's in the same boat there. So you all should have no problem breaking the ice. And today we've got a conversation between Jamie and Evan at a birthday party trying to talk to some new people. So let's find out what happens when she tries to break the ice with Evan. Let's listen to the first part of today's conversation one time.
Meeting new people. Act 1. Breaking the ice. Jamie is at the birthday party of a childhood friend, Kathy. She doesn't know most of the people there, so she's trying to make some new friends.
Hey, mind if I join you?
Not at all. Nice to meet you. I'm Evan.
I'm Jamie, a friend of Kathy's from way back. How do you know her?
We go to school together. I still remember how we met, actually. The teachers were trying to get everyone acquainted during the first week of middle school, so we had to do these embarrassing activities. Do you know the one where you have to pass a lifesaver using only a straw that you hold with your mouth?
大家好，第一部分我们看到的单字是形容词 acquainted， 指熟悉的或认识的。例如 Are you two acquainted with each other? 你们两个对彼此熟悉吗？另外，补充与 acquainted 相关的片语，可以用 get acquainted with each other 来表示熟悉彼此。所以可以说 In the camp, they prepared a game for group members to get acquainted with each other. 在营队中，他们准备了一个让组员熟悉彼此的游戏。接着我们看到单字 embarrassing， 这个字是形容词，指某事物令人尴尬的。举例来说 The report contained several embarrassing mistakes. 那份报告包含了几个令人尴尬的错误。另外，补充与 embarrassing 相关的单字 embarrassed, E-M-B-A-R-R-A-S-S-E-D, embarrassed 也是形容词，指某人感到尴尬的。像是 Steve was embarrassed by his friend's behavior in the restaurant.Steve 因为朋友在餐厅里的行为感到很尴尬。
Okay, so again, we're meeting new people. I did want to say that meet here as a verb means that you actually get to talk to somebody for the first time. If you already know them, don't say, hey, it's nice to meet you. We've already met. You do that once. If you see the person again, you should say, it's nice to see you again.Right,
so we have Jamie, who is at a birthday party of her friends, and her friend is Kathy, and she doesn't know anybody there. So Jamie is at the birthday party of a childhood friend, Kathy. She doesn't know most of the people there, so she's trying to make some new friends.Right,
so Kathy probably knows most of these people because she probably invited them to the party, but Jamie doesn't know most of them, so she wants to make some new friends. And maybe she's not very shy, maybe she's very outgoing, and she's willing to begin conversations with other people. And then she actually sees someone and she says, hey, mind if I join you? That's short for saying, do you mind if I join you? In other words, can I participate in your conversation as well? Can I be a part of your conversation?
And it sounds like she's pretty outgoing because she doesn't know Evan. She approaches him and asks, hey, mind if I join you? And Evan is pretty friendly also. He says, not at all. Nice to meet you. I'm Evan. So he offers to introduce himself first by telling her his name. Nice to meet you. I'm Evan.
Again, he's saying, nice to meet you, and that's what you say to someone the first time that you get to know them. Nice to meet you. I'm Evan. How you doing? And then Jamie says, I'm Jamie, a friend of Kathy's from way back. From way back there just means that Jamie and Kathy have known each other for a very long time. They are old friends.
And Jamie asks Evan, how do you know her? How do you know Kathy? So that's a pretty good way to break the ice. They're both at Kathy's birthday party, so they both know her. That's their only point in common. So she asks him, how do you know Kathy?
Right, so Evan answers that question, well, we go to school together. Or he could say, we are classmates. And Evan says, I still remember how we met, actually. So, yes, they've probably known each other for a long time, but he remembers the first time that they met. Okay, and we can probably say this about a lot of our friends. How did you meet your best friend, Kevin? Or how did you meet your best friend, Lisa? Well, we met in school one day. She was having trouble putting on her sneakers for PE class, and I offered to help her, and that's how we got to know each other. People have lots of different stories as to how they met their best friends.
And Evan has a particular story also. According to Evan, he and Kathy met when they were both in middle school. It happened when the teacher, or Evan and Kathy's teachers, were trying to get everyone acquainted during the first week of middle school. So we had to do these embarrassing activities.
That's right. So this does sometimes happen when you start going to a new school. The teachers realize that all of the kids don't really know each other. So the teacher will come up with different ideas to help break the ice. And that's the title of Act 1 here, Breaking the Ice. And we all feel kind of cold when we meet people for the first time. So if you want to break the ice, that means you want to actually start talking to each other so you don't feel so cold anymore about each other. You start to warm up to each other.
And when you break the ice, you get people acquainted with each other. And here, acquainted means people who know each other, usually not very well. So you could say, we got better acquainted as the school term progressed.
Right, we got to know each other a little bit more as school continued. So that's what the teacher did, or at least the teachers there. They were trying to get everyone acquainted. They wanted to get the students to know each other better, and that was during the first week of middle school. So they needed to do some embarrassing activities. Embarrassing is something that makes you feel embarrassed. Remember, embarrassed is how you feel, and something that makes you embarrassed is an embarrassing situation. This is so embarrassing. I have to give a speech in front of all these people, and I didn't have time to prepare. This is an embarrassing situation, and I feel very embarrassed.
It's also embarrassing when you forget someone's name. When you meet someone, you haven't seen them in a long time, and they know you by name. They're very familiar with you, and you're there trying to remember their name, trying to get some clue as to where you last saw them, and that's pretty embarrassing.
It can be embarrassing indeed, so you should probably try pretty hard to remember someone's name. And those were embarrassing activities. They made them feel kind of uncomfortable, but the teachers were just trying to get those students acquainted with each other. And here, Evan has a question. Do you know the one where you have to pass a lifesaver using only a straw that you hold with your mouth? So, do you know the one? The one here is referring to that embarrassing activity. So, are you familiar with this particular activity? And you need to pass a lifesaver using a straw. A lifesaver, what exactly is that?
Well, a lifesaver isn't actually something that saves your life, even though it's named after that. A lifesaver, it's an American brand of candy. It's a fruit-flavored hard candy, and the name comes from its similarity to the shape of life preservers that are used for saving people who have fallen from boats.
Right, it's like a white ring, and if somebody has fallen in the water, you throw that white ring to them so they can float. So these pieces of candy are basically round with a hole in the middle. And in this case, they needed to pass that piece of candy with a hole in the middle called a lifesaver using only a straw. A straw, of course, is what you use to drink your soda or something like that. They're usually made out of plastic, and they need to pass this lifesaver candy using a straw, and you hold that straw with your mouth. Have you ever done that before, Helen? I've heard of this, but I've never done it.
I've never done it, but it does sound pretty embarrassing. I don't think I would want to do that with someone I didn't know.
Yeah, it sounds pretty embarrassing, and it sounds pretty difficult as well. But again, that was one activity that the middle school teachers used to get the students more acquainted with each other. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson. Let's move on now to the second part.
I've played that before, but never with people I'd only just met. How awkward.
You have no idea. I ended up accidentally stabbing Kathy in the eye with my straw.
Oh no.
I went out of my way to be nice to her after that. We became good friends, so now I'm glad it happened. How about you?
Our story isn't nearly as entertaining as yours. Kathy and I played together as children. After I transferred to a different middle school, we kept in touch.
"第二部分我们看到片语 go out of one's way 表示竭尽所能，费尽心思去做点点点，后面常接 to 加动词。例如 Regina goes out of her way when her friends need help. Regina 在朋友需要帮忙时竭尽所能。接着我们看到形容词 entertaining 指有趣的。举例来说 Carl wrote an entertaining article about training his dog. Carl 写了一篇有关训练他的狗的有趣文章。而 entertaining 去掉字尾的 ing, entertain 为它的动词，有使快乐或使有兴趣的意思。所以可以说 Believe it or not, this video is made to entertain cats, and my kitten loves chasing the fish on my iPad. 信不信由你，这个影片是制作来娱乐猫的，我的小猫喜欢追逐在 iPad 中看到的鱼。另外，在 entertain 字尾加上 ment 就可以成为名词 entertainment，指娱乐、消遣或娱性节目，像是 Trevor worked in the entertainment industry for 2 decades. Trevor 在娱乐产业工作20年了。再来，我们看到一个单字 transfer， 这个字为动词，指转学、转车或调任。例如 Jane transferred to a new school when her father got a job in a new city. 当 Jane 的爸爸在新的城市找到一份工作时，他转学到一间新的学校。又或者说You need to transfer from the bus to the subway at the next stop. 你需要在下一站由巴士转乘地铁。
So, both Jamie and Evan are childhood friends of Kathy's, and they meet at Kathy's birthday party. Jamie didn't know anyone at the party, but she broke the ice by approaching Evan and starting a conversation. Jamie asks Evan how he knows Kathy, and Evan shares a childhood memory of an embarrassing game they used to play, which was passing a lifesaver. And Jamie says, I've played that before, but never with people I only just met. How awkward.
Indeed. So Jamie does say that she has played this game before, the activity where you pass a lifesaver using just a straw. She has played that maybe with friends or other classmates, but never with people that she had just met. And if she were to play that game with someone she had just met, that would be awkward. How awkward? Awkward just means a situation in which you feel really strange. It's a difficult situation, especially when you don't really know what to say to the other person.
It's similar to the feeling of embarrassment or inconvenience. So, for instance, you might feel awkward if you wore a formal dress or a formal suit to a casual party because you would stand out in that situation, and that would make you feel awkward.
Or if you wore shorts and a t-shirt to a formal dinner party, you would feel embarrassed, you would feel out of place, you would feel awkward. So if you played this game with strangers, yes, it would make you feel embarrassed, uncomfortable, and awkward. Here's what Evan has to say. You have no idea, which is kind of like saying, you said it. You hit the nail right on the head there. Absolutely, that would be very, very awkward. You have no idea.
Right. It basically means that you are agreeing with somebody and you are emphasizing the fact that you agree with what the person has just said. So if somebody asked me, was the department store crowded? I would say, you have no idea, which means, yes, it was extremely crowded.
Absolutely. So, yes, indeed, that is how they met. And he says, I ended up accidentally stabbing Kathy in the eye with my straw. Ooh, that must have hurt. So, yes, he ended up doing that. That's what happened in the end. He stabbed her in the eye with the straw. To stab means to take a sharp object and to stick it into something else. Sometimes criminals might stab someone that they're trying to rob. That could result in the person's death or a serious injury. But in this particular case, I guess you could also say that he poked her in the eye with that straw. And that, of course, would have been very embarrassing.
And Jamie says, oh no. And Evan adds, I went out of my way to be nice to her after that. We became good friends, so now I'm glad it happened. So, to go out of your way to do something means to make a special effort to do something. You could say, I went out of my way to cook some vegetarian dishes for my vegetarian friend.
Right. You were having a dinner party or something, and a couple of your guests were vegetarians, so you made the extra effort to cook vegetarian food for them, even though you didn't really have to, right?
Exactly.
You went out of your way, you made the extra effort. And yes, Evan felt bad about stabbing Kathy in the eye with that straw, so he went out of his way to be nice to her after that. And he goes on to say, we became good friends, so now I'm glad it happened. And how about you? What's Jamie's story? How did she meet the birthday girl, Kathy?
And Jamie says, our story isn't nearly as entertaining as yours. So Jamie's saying that the time when Jamie and Kathy met isn't as interesting or as funny as when Evan and Kathy met. And she goes on to say, Kathy and I played together as children. After I transferred to a different middle school, we kept in touch.
So transfer, you go from one school to the other, but you're in the same grade. And you could also transfer within your company to transfer from one department to the other. And they kept in touch. They kept in contact with each other. Let's move on now to the third part of our lesson.
I'm glad you did, or we'd never have met.
Now you're making me feel embarrassed.
Even so, you have to admit that breaking the ice now is way easier than it was in middle school.
最后第三部分，我们看到动词 flirt 有调情、打情骂俏之意，所以可以说 The new employee became known in the office for flirting with the female staff. 新来的员工因为在办公室里与女职员调情而为人所知。另外，在 flirt 的字尾加上 y，flirty 为它的形容词，指爱调情的或卖俏的，像是 Katie's boyfriend was mad at her for being too flirty at the bar last night. Katie 的男朋友对于她昨晚在酒吧爱调情的表现感到愤怒。
Okay, in the third part of our lesson, Evan here is pretending to flirt. If you flirt, of course, between boys and girls, you try to look like you're interested in each other in a playful way, but it's never really serious. So he's kind of being flirtatious with Jamie. Hey, I'm glad you did, or we'd never have met. And what does Jamie say?And
Jamie says, now you're making me feel embarrassed because Evan is talking to her in a slightly romantic way.
Right, I would feel embarrassed as well. And Evan says, even so, you have to admit that breaking the ice now is way easier than it was in middle school. So yes, I suppose nowadays it's easier to break the ice with new people and start conversations and make friends with new people. Okay, that brings us to the end of our discussion for today.Let's hear from our Chinese teacher now.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 这两天的对话是关于认识新朋友。那对话的第一幕是 Breaking the ice。Break the ice 字面上的意思就是破冰，那它是用来表达说打破冷场啊，打破僵局。我们还可以用 icebreaker 来表达打开僵局啊，化解矜持的事物。好，那么我对话里面两位主角 Jamie 还有 Evan 在 Kathy 的生日派对上面相遇了。他们正在聊说自己是怎么认识 Kathy 的。 Evan 就说他在开学的第一个礼拜的课堂活动不小心弄伤了 Kathy 的眼睛。他说 I ended up accidentally stabbing Kathy in the eye with my straw. 结果我不小心用吸管戳到 Kathy 的眼睛。好，那句子里面有一个片语动词 end up， 它表示最后处于怎么样，以什么什么告终，常常用来表达说在不预期的情况下，结果变成什么什么。好，那么 end up 它是不及物用法，后面要接补语。这个补语它可以是形容词、现在分词、过去分词，或者是介系词片语。像我们课文里面 end up 它后面就是接现在分词 stabbing 来当补语。好，来造个例句。 Their car ended up stuck in the mud. 他们的车最后被困在泥泞里。那这个例句呢，就是用过去分词 stuck 来当做补语用。另外有一个片语叫做 wind up， wind 就是拼作 W-I-N-D 风的那个字，可是当动词念 wind up 它跟 end up 意思跟用法是一样的。那 wind 的动词三态就跟 find found found 一样，那么 wind round wound， 希望这样可以帮助同学们记忆。例如 They wound up going to a KTV to celebrate Mia's birthday， 他们最后是去 KTV 帮 Mia 庆生。好，那么 Jamie 说呢，他跟 Kathy 是小时候的玩伴，后来他自己转学到另外一个中学，不过他们还是有保持联络。这边有个单字叫 transfer， 我们来学习它的字首字根。 Trans T-R-A-N-S 它表示横越，那么 F-E-R 这部分表示运送，横越着运送，这样应该不难联想到这个 transfer 它有转学啊、转车、转移或者是调任的意思吧。其实 F-E-R 这个字根呢，除了运送，它还有携带或者是承担承受的意思。像 prefer 这个字，它的字首 P-R-E 表示之前，那么 F-E-R 表示拿或者是提携带。同学们就可以试着联想说，在一堆物品当中，我们都会先拿自己比较喜欢的东西，尤其是像在那种百货公司你要抢花车的商品的时候，比较喜欢的东西一定要抢在别人之前先拿走，否则你就买不到了。这样应该可以联想到 prefer 它有偏好、比较喜欢的意思吧。好，还有一个动词叫 infer， I-N-F-E-R， I-N 它表示在什么之中，那么 F-E-R 表示携带。在我们面对某个情况的时候呢，我们把自己的想法带进那个情况里，去推论、去猜想这个事情的来龙去脉，这样或许呢，你就可以联想到 infer 它有推论、推断或是猜想的意思。好，至于 confer C-O-N-F-E-R 这个动词呢，它的字首 C-O-N 表示一起， F-E-R 表示承担。我们碰到问题要一起承担的时候，大家就会一起去商讨解决办法，所以 confer 它有协商商谈的意思。好，以上是这些重点整理，我们来回顾这些单字吧。
Acquainted. I'm not acquainted with that topic, so I'll need to do some research before writing about it. Embarrassing. Kelly refuses to go to karaoke because she finds singing in front of other people really embarrassing. Awkward. An awkward silence fell over the group as everyone ran out of things to say. Entertaining. Though the film was meant for children, even adults found it entertaining. Transfer. Max will transfer to another department at the end of the month.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I'm Helen.
See you next time.